Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Ehsan, and in today's video we're going to solve another Cambridge IELTS reading book. It is better to have this book in front of you while watching this video. Cambridge IELTS book 9. We're going to solve IELTS reading test 1, reading passage 2 together. It's better to have your pencil and take notes while watching this video and turn off any distractors such as your cell phone so you have the full concentration on this video. I try to come up with some tips and strategies to solve this test that is going to be useful for another IELTS reading tests as well. It's better to smile and make yourself relax because this is the way that you can have a positive thinking and great attitude, especially through your IELTS exam. If you're new here, please give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and also the notification bell so whenever I upload a new video, you'll be aware of it. So without much further ado, let's jump into it. I'm using this website, startcamp.com, and I'm put the link in the description below so you can test yourself for your IELTS exam. This is reading passage 2. I've already covered passage 1. So in test 2, you can see on the left hand side the passage and on the right hand side the questions. We're going to solve the questions from 14 till 26. So what is my strategy to solve this particular reading passage? First, I'm going to read the title, The Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. This is the title of the passage, and I try to imagine the situation of what is it about this passage. Extraterrestrial. Terrestrial is something related to the Earth, actually. Okay? So, there is a subheading about this passage. I'm going to just quickly read this subheading, and I'm using this highlight to highlight the key words or phrases. The question of whether we are alone in the universe has haunted humanity for centuries, but we may now stand poised on the brink of the answer to that question as we search for radio signals from other intelligent civilizations. This search, often known by the acronym SETI. SETI means Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, is a difficult one. Although groups around the world have been searching intermittently for 3 decades, it is only now that we have reached the level of technology where we can make a determined attempt to search all nearby stars of any sign of life. So it's about stars, extraterrestrial. It's about related to something about Earth, actually. So now I'm going to read the questions and just keep highlight the keywords in the questions. Seeking a list of headings. This is a list of headings, and I'm going to find just for 4 paragraphs, not all of the paragraphs. B, C, D, and E. Okay. So, seeking the transmission of radio signals from planets. Appropriate responses to signals from other civilizations. Vast distances to Earth's closest neighbors. Assumptions underlying the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. SETI, search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Okay. Reasons for the search of extraterrestrial intelligence. Knowledge of extraterrestrial life forms. Likelihood of life on other planets. You see, try to find the keywords that somehow separate the title from other titles. For example, here we have likelihood, here we have knowledge, here we have reasons, here we have assumptions, distance, response, transmission. These are the keywords that completely separate one title from another. Okay? Now, for these questions, no more than 3 words and or a number. Be careful about this, which means that you can use, for example, 3 words plus a number, because number didn't count as a word. So be careful about this type of questions. What is the life expectancy of Earth? What kind of signals from other intelligent civilizations are SETI scientists searching for? in most cases in these questions, you're going to find two keywords, one for where the answer is and the other for the where exact answer is. How many stars, the number of stars, are the world's most powerful radio telescopes searching? How many stars? The answer is going to be a number. You have to predict what is going to be your answer in the IELTS reading test. This is an important skill that you have to be master on it. Yes, no, not given. Alien civilizations may be able to help the human race to overcome serious problems. SETI scientists are trying to find a life form that resembles humans in many ways. The Americans and Australians have cooperated on joint research projects. So far, SETI scientists have picked up radio signals from several stars. The NASA project attracted criticism from some members of Congress. If a signal from outer space is received, it will be important to respond promptly or respond immediately. So, the questions and answers are in the right order in yes, no, not given, and the questions 18 to 20. This multiple voice questions. Okay. For heading, you have to read the whole paragraph and then decide which is going to be the title. So, start from paragraph A. Actually, you have to start from the subheading. Sometimes the answer is in subheadings. So, when I read it, actually, I'm not finding any answer about these questions. The primary reason for the search, just bear that in your mind. For paragraph A, we're not looking for the headings, but have these questions in your mind. What is the life expectancy of Earth? The first question for this one, and the first question here. Alien civilizations may be able to help the human race to overcome serious problems. Alien civilizations, life expectancy. Just have these two words in your mind. Now let's get started. The primary reason for the search is basic curiosity, the same curiosity about the natural world that drives all pure science. We want to know whether we are alone in the universe. We want to know whether life evolves naturally if given the right conditions, or whether there is something very special about the Earth to have fostered the variety of life forms that we see around us on the planet. The simple detection of a radio signal will be sufficient to answer this most basic of all questions. In this sense, SETI is another cog in the machinery of pure science which is continually pushing out the horizon of our knowledge. However, there are other reasons for being interested in whether life exists elsewhere. For example, we have had civilization on Earth for perhaps only a few thousand years, and the threats of nuclear war and pollution over the last few decades have told us that our survival may be tenuous. Will we last another 2,000 years, or will we wipe ourselves out? Since the lifetime, be careful, lifetime of a planet like ours is several million years. Lifetime, life expectancy. Earth, a planet like ours. This is exactly paraphrasing the question. Several million years is the answer, actually. Several billion years. Because I already take this test. When I click here, you can find the answer. Okay, but if you're taking this test for the first time in this website, you're not going to find the answer. Okay, so this is how we can find the answer for the question number 18, actually. We can expect that if other civilizations means alien civilization. I already told you which question you have to be, which vocabulary, which keyword you have to be bear in your mind. Do survive in our galaxy, their ages will range from 0 to several billion years. This is here something about their health, actually. Thus, maybe they use the word 8. Does any other civilization that we hear from is likely to be far older on average than ourselves? The mere existence of such a civilization will tell us that long-term survival is possible and gives us some cause for optimism. It is even possible, it is even possible that the older civilization may pass on the benefits of their experience in dealing with threats to survival, such as nuclear war and global pollution and other threats that we haven't yet discovered. So, overcome serious problems, dealing with threats, may be able to help the human race. Here it says may pass on the benefits of their experience in dealing with, yes, exactly the same sentence with paraphrasing words. So this is actually yes. And I've already created IELTS keyword tables which you can find. For example, earlier civilization, older civilization, overcome serious problems, dealing with threats. This is really helpful, especially for your speaking and writing skills. These paraphrasing techniques that they've examiner actually used in the IELTS reading tests. And I've created a whole playlist. Up until now, I've already created IELTS keyword list from Cambridge 7 till Cambridge 12. And if I have your support, I'm going to actually continue this work for another Cambridge books as well. Okay. Now, and I'm going to put the link in the description below, especially about this one, Cambridge IELTS Book 9, Test 2, and another Cambridge IELTS Book 9. For example, Test 1, and for another test, for example, Test 2, 3, and 4 as well, just the keyword tables. So here now, the next paragraph, paragraph B. For paragraph B, what is my strategy? My strategy is that actually I have to look for question 22. What is the keyword? SETI scientists are trying to find a life form that resembles humans in many ways. 22 or maybe 19 here. What kind of signals from other intelligence are SETI scientists searching? Kind of signals resembles humans. These are the keywords that I'm looking for. And at the end of paragraph B, I've decided what is the heading for this paragraph. In discussing whether we are alone, most SETI scientists adopt two ground rules. Two ground rules. Ground rules means some sort of assumptions, actually. This is an important vocabulary. The principles on which future behavior is based on it. These are some ground rules. And sometimes, in terms of looking for matching heading paragraph, you have to choose the title that is most repetition of the words that you're going to find in that paragraphs. Okay, now you will see it in this paragraph. First, UFOs, unidentified flying objects, are generally ignored since most scientists don't consider the evidence for them to be strong enough, the evidence to bear serious consideration, although it is also important to keep an open mind in case any really convincing evidence emerges in the future. Second, we make a very conservative assumption that we are looking for a life form, that is pretty like us. Looking for a life form that is pretty like us. Here it says that SETI scientists are trying to find a life form that resembles human in many ways. For a life form that is pretty well like us. This is the answer for this question. So this is actually yes. Trying to find this. Okay? This is how we can find the answer. And as you see, I'm just focusing on some limited keywords, not all of the keywords. When I find the answer for this question, then I move forward to the next question. For example, from now on, I'm considering Americans and Australians cooperation. And here I'm still looking for kind of signals. Since if it differs radically from us, we may well not recognize it as a life form, quite apart from whether we are able to communicate with it. In other words, the life form we are looking for may well have two green heads and seven fingers, but it will nevertheless resemble us in that it should communicate with its fellows, be interested in the universe, live on a planet orbiting a star like our sun, and perhaps most respectively have a chemistry like us based on carbon and water. Okay, so what is the title for this one? It's talking about SETI scientists, but you can find SETI scientists in here, and I don't know. Again, SETI search for extraterrestrial intelligence, extraterrestrial life forms. So, what is the answer for this one? The answer lies in finding the most repeated vocabularies. You see here ground rules. You see here conservative assumption. You see evidence. These are all some kind of things related to somehow related to assumptions underlying the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. You have to look for an answer for matching headings in a big picture, actually, not just some keywords, because these keywords just help you to find the answer. You have to repeat it a lot. This is the kind of questions that most students find it so much difficult, and actually I consider myself as a student because I'm learning from these videos as well as you guys, believe me. So assumptions underlying the search for extraterrestrial, and there are some vocabularies related to search. For example, looking for, actually we can see it in this paragraph. So you have to write IV in your answer sheet. Be careful. You always have to write the Roman numbers in your answer sheet. And I'm gonna actually highlight this keyword as because I don't want to look for this heading again. And if you consider a paper IELTS exam, you have to cross out this one. Okay. So now move on to the next paragraph. And actually, interesting paragraph. Even when we make these assumptions, you can see it in here. So the previous paragraph is about assumptions. This is another interesting point in this IELTS reading test. Now, what are we looking for paragraph C? Paragraph C, of course, the heading, and again, kind of signals. What kind of signals from other intelligent civilizations? And here, America's and Australia's cooperation. Okay. Our understanding of other life forms is still severely limited. We do not even know, for example, how many stars have planets, and we certainly do not know how likely it is that life will arise naturally given the right conditions. It's until here it's talking about uncertainty, but be patient. However, when we look at the 100 billion stars in our galaxy, and 100 billion galaxies in the observable universe, it seems inconceivable that at least one of these planets does not have a life form on it. In fact, the best educated guess do not know how likely it is. We can make using the little that we do know about the conditions for carbon-based life leads us to estimate that perhaps one in 100,000 stars might have a life-bearing planet orbiting it. That means that our nearest neighbors are perhaps 100 light years away, which is almost next door in astronomical terms. So, educated guess, estimate, we do not know, likely, we do not know, and these are all we can consider for paragraph C, likelihood of life on other planets. It's talking about other planets, okay? For example, the Milky Way here. Okay, so VII. You're going to write VII for paragraph C and cross out this one as well. Okay, and actually, I'm not finding any other answers for other questions. Still, kind of signals, and Australia's and Australians, Americans and Australians cooperation. An alien civilization could choose many different ways of sending information across the galaxy. But many of these either require too much energy or else are severely attenuated while traversing the vast distances across the galaxy. It turns out that for a given amount of transmitted power, radio waves in the frequency range 1000 to 3000 megahertz travel the greatest distance, and so all searches to date have concentrated on looking for radio waves in this frequency range. Looking for radio waves in this frequency range. So, what kind of signals from other intelligent civilization, alien civilization, are SETI scientists searching for? Looking for radio waves. So the answer here is radio waves. This is the kind of signals. So next question, how many stars are the world's most powerful radio telescopes? Actually, you can find when you find telescopes, you can find the answer for question 20. So far, there have been a number of searches by various groups around the world, including Australian searches using the radio telescope at Parkes, New South Wales. Until now, there have not been any detections. There have not been any detections from the few hundred stars which have been searched. Be careful. There is something about Australian, but we're not finding anything about Americans. And here it says that so far SETI scientists have picked up radio signals from radio stars. But here it says that until now there have not been any detections from the few hundred stars which have been searched. So there is no detection. Here the answer is no, and we couldn't find anything about this, so it's not given. Next question, NASA project, and here how many stars? Okay, so the scale of the searches has been increased dramatically since 1992, when the US Congress voted NASA 10 million per year for 10 years to conduct a throughout search of extraterrestrial life. Here it says about NASA project attracted criticism from some members of Congress. Okay, so much of the money in this project is being spent on developing the special hardware needed to search many frequencies at once. The project has two parts. One part is a targeted search using the world's largest radio telescopes. The American operated telescope in Arecibo, I think, Puerto Rico, and the French telescope in Nancy in France. This part of the project is searching the nearest 1000 likely stars with high sensitivity for signals in the frequency range 1000 to 3000 megahertz. So how many stars? 1000 stars, because I find high sensitivity. So how many stars is 1000? Actually, you just write the number. And because I find telescope and high sensitivity, for most powerful they use high sensitivity. And again, this is the paraphrasing that I'm already prepared the IELTS keyword table, which you're going to find in the link in the description below. Okay, so what is the title? The other just read the last sentence. The other part of the project is an undirected search, which is monitoring all of space with a lower sensitivity using the smaller antennas of NASA's Deep Space Network. Okay, now what is it about? It's about sending information, sending radio waves, and alien civilization. We can find it where is it? Seeking the transmission of radio signals from planets. You see, we already answered the question what kind of signals in this question. So when we find it, this is the answer for this one. And this is sending information. This is on the first sentence, and actually the whole paragraph is talking about this. Don't choose the title based on just one sentence. Have the big picture and try to understand the whole paragraph. You can get your speed after a while. We do not in looking for a speed in this particular video. Okay, we try to understand IELTS reading passage, so be patient. Okay, guys. And actually the NASA project did not attract any criticism about members of the, and actually they didn't say anything about this. So 25 is actually not given. Now we have left with paragraph E and just two questions, 26 and the heading 17. Okay, this is considerable debate over how we should react if we detect a signal from an alien civilization. And be careful, if a signal from outer space is received, it will be important to respond properly. This is the keywords. Everybody agrees that we should not reply immediately. This is completely obvious. We should not reply immediately. So the answer is no. We should not. For immediately, they use promptly. For reply, they use respond. You see how they paraphrase the keywords in the questions and the passage. Quite apart from the impracticality of sending a reply over such large distances at short notice, it raises a host of ethical questions that would have to be addressed by the global community before any reply could be sent. Would the human race face the culture shock if faced with a superior and much older civilization? Luckily, there is no urgency about this. The stars being searched are hundreds of light years away, so it takes hundreds of years for their signal to reach us, and a further few hundred years for our reply to search them. It's not important then if there is a delay of a few years or decades while the human race debates the question of whether to reply and perhaps carefully drafts a reply. Okay, what is the title for this one? You can answer it easily because you already answered these three, and appropriate responses to signal from other civilizations. Vast, there is nothing about vast distances. Reasons, no. Knowledge, no. So here it says that there is considerable debate over how we should react. React means response to signals from other civilizations. A signal from an alien civilization. Alien civilization means other civilization. You see how they paraphrase. They always use paraphrasing. So the answer for this question is number 2. Actually, in Roman numbers, you have to write II in your answer sheet. Okay, guys, I hope this was helpful. If that's the case, please give me a thumbs up, share this video with your friend, and let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. And if you need about paraphrasing techniques in IELTS keyword tables, I refer you to the link in the description below. Stay tuned till next video. Thanks for watching.